In a time when headlines are dominated by politics and pop culture, a monumental decision from the U.S. Supreme Court flew under the radar. In an unexpected 9-0 ruling, the highest court in the land delivered a victory that many gun owners never saw coming, shaking the foundation of state-level assault weapon bans across the nation. This was no ordinary ruling. Legal experts are calling it one of the most significant blows to restrictive gun laws in American history. And while most of the media remained silent, this decision is sending shockwaves through every state, with tight gun laws, from California to New York. The battle over the Second Amendment just reached a turning point. Chapter 1. The Case That Sparked a Storm. Back in 2021, the Mexican government took the bold step of filing a lawsuit against top U.S. gun manufacturers like Smith & Wesson, Glock, and Colt, alleging they were complicit in fueling cartel violence by allowing guns to flow across the border. The suit wasn't about breaking laws directly, but rather about holding gun makers accountable for crimes committed by third parties. The price tag for this lawsuit? A staggering $10 billion in damages. But the legal battle didn't stop there. Initially, a district court dismissed the case based on a 2005 federal law known as the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, PLCAA, which shields gun makers from liability when their products are misused. But this wasn't the end. Mexico appealed, and the case eventually made its way to the highest court in the land. In a rare moment of complete unanimity, the Supreme Court issued a 9-0 decision, sending a clear message. Foreign governments cannot use American courts to go after gun manufacturers for crimes committed outside our borders. It was a win for the gun industry, but what happened next was even more significant. Chapter 2. A sentence that changed everything buried within the 25-page ruling was a line that has changed everything for the future of gun rights in America. Although the case centered around Mexico's lawsuit, Justice Elena Kagan, who authored the opinion, wrote, "Firearms like the AR-15 are widely legal and commonly owned by law-abiding citizens for lawful purposes." This simple statement could very well be the death knell for assault weapon bans nationwide. By declaring the AR-15 a commonly owned firearm, Justice Kagan set a new legal precedent. What does this mean for states like California and New York, where these rifles are banned? It means they can no longer claim these rifles are outside the protection of the Second Amendment. If millions of law-abiding citizens own and use these firearms legally, they are constitutionally protected. Chapter 3. The Legal Impact. This one sentence has ignited a firestorm of legal challenges across the country. For decades, politicians and judges have tried to pass laws banning certain firearms simply because of their appearance, not their functionality. But in the wake of this ruling, gun rights attorneys now have the strongest argument they've ever had. If the AR-15 is legal and commonly owned, it cannot be banned under the Second Amendment, period. Chapter 4. The Legal Domino Effect. The ruling has already begun to reshape the landscape of gun laws across the United States. In California, one of the strictest states in terms of gun control, a federal judge recently ruled that the state's Assault Weapons Control Act was unconstitutional. Why? Because the firearms covered by the law, like the AR-15, are in common use for lawful purposes, and therefore cannot be banned. And it's not just California. Legal challenges are popping up in states across the country. From Illinois to New Jersey, state-level bans are now under intense scrutiny. The Supreme Court's 9-0 ruling is the legal weapon lawyers have been waiting for to dismantle these bans once and for all. Chapter 5. The Political Fallout. The ruling has caused a frenzy among anti-gun politicians and judges. with many scrambling to defend laws that were previously thought to be airtight. During a recent oral argument in a case challenging California's assault weapon ban, a judge mistook an AR-15 for a machine gun, revealing a deep misunderstanding of the very laws he was meant to uphold. These missteps are more than just embarrassing. They're a sign of desperation. With the Supreme Court's ruling in hand, gun rights advocates are finding more and more success in the courts, and the opposition is struggling to keep up. Chapter 6. A nationwide movement. The Supreme Court's decision is not just a win for gun owners in California or New York. It's a victory for gun rights across the entire nation. 10 states and Washington, D.C. currently have their own versions of assault weapon bans, but the truth is catching up with them. The National Shooting Sports Foundation reports that there are over 24 million AR-style rifles in civilian hands in the U.S. As these rifles become more commonplace, state-level bans are becoming harder to defend. And now, with the Supreme Court's ruling, the legal foundation for these bans is crumbling. Chapter 7. What comes next? This ruling is far from the end of the fight. In fact, it's just the beginning. Lawsuits are already underway in multiple states, challenging the constitutionality of assault weapon bans using the Supreme Court's ruling as a foundation. So what's next for gun rights in America? The legal battles are heating up, and there's a real possibility that we're witnessing the end of the assault weapon ban era in the U.S. The fight is far from over, but with the support of the Supreme Court's ruling, gun owners are now in the strongest legal position they've ever been in. It's time for the states to face the reality that these weapons are legal, common, and protected by the Second Amendment. If you believe in defending the Second Amendment, now is the time to act. Like, share, and comment below. What do you think? Is this the end of assault weapon bans? Or is something bigger on the horizon?